Hey, this is Bug Thank you once again for joining me for another World of Tanks replay. And there is a replay bug. As you can see, the Sixth Sense icon is on for some reason. I don't really know why. Anyway, today's replay is all about the E75, the rather excellent German Tier 9 Heavy, which has stood the test of time. When so many tanks which have been around for a while in World of Tanks have been kind of power crept, E75 seems to be hanging in there really, and yeah, so let's see. We've got a couple of replays for you, this one and one by another player, and he shows the E75, sorry, shows us how the E75 should be played. Meanwhile, let's go. Malinovka, we're going for the hill. I'll take an early shot. It's questionable whether I should have stopped really and taken these shots. I think I just should have carried on powering up the hill, but I'm not exposing too much of my tank, honestly. I'm playing it safe. There's only one artillery, so yeah. Not only that, it's a premium firing artillery, premium shot firing artillery. So I'm thinking, okay, that's annoying. I can only kind of blame myself for making myself a big fat target and staying still quite a lot. But I've lost a quarter of my health. So let's see if I can be a little bit more careful. Meanwhile, Watlanka has proceeded up the hill. So I'm going to go up and back him up. However, I noticed that we've only really got T54 Mod 1 on the lower road of the hill, and they've got a lot of tanks up there. So I'm going to, I tell Watlanka on comms that I'm going to cover the low road because we've got nobody down there. I'm a little bit wary of artillery at this point. I'm also trying to not expose too much of the side of my turret to the people sort of down in the kind of D7 sort of C6 area. Anyway, so up we go. I feel I'm a little bit safe now. Nothing coming from my right. I have been spotted, so I turn my turret just in time to bounce an LTTB shot, and I bang a shot into an IS-3 who's side scraping probably against the T54, but it means that he's wide open for my shot to hit him for a 502 damage roll. I was going to go up the hill then, but I then noticed that actually there's an E100 there. And we've got plenty of tanks at the top, so I was a little bit indecisive, but going to come down now. Our artillery has just smacked these tanks down here, and it's stunned them, which means that was a perfect time for me to kind of pop up and take a shot at them. E100, still mostly on full health. He's going to be our primary focus. Obviously we're tier 9s, he's tier 10. He's probably got the 150mm gun, which does 750 damage on average, and he's probably firing premium ammo, so I really don't want to get hit by that because it's unlikely I'll be bouncing those heat shells. So far it's 2-2. I go down to see if I can take a shot at the Rheinmetall Panzerwagen, but he disappears. But however, this position is actually quite nice for taking shots at the U100. However, I'm thinking, I don't know, I don't want to expose myself too much to tanks down there which haven't been spotted yet. But nevertheless, we need to deal with these guys. Take a shot at the T54, he bounces presumably off my lower plate, which is quite well angled. So that's very pleasing. T54 takes another shot at me, he really wants to try and get a shot on me. In retrospect, shooting the U100's top of his turret there probably wasn't the smartest idea. So I mentally have a word with myself. There we go, perfect opportunity. Turns his turret to look at Watlanka, and I stick a 491 damage roll into the side of it. Keep watching to my left, because those guys can potentially snipe me. So I go for the weak spot along the top, the bar along the top of the 100. Aim it in, and get a penetrating shot. So I've done about 1000 damage to the 100 so far. Artillery takes another 300 off him. And again he's turned his turret. Perfect. Another chunky shot into the 100. So again, averaging about 500, which is what it should be. The 100's gone. So that means that Watlanka's now freed up to construct other targets, as am I. And I'm kind of looking around, I'm taking stock, and I'm thinking, well, that Batchak 12T bottom left hand corner could be a potential threat to us. However, we do have a light tank, a T92 back there. We've also got T44 and the WZ1111FT premium, is that premium Chinese tank destroyer? I think it is. And I don't know if they're AFK or they're just camping, I haven't got a clue. But I'm thinking, okay, look, I'm going to go and help mop up the hill. We've got a little bit of time, and it's only a batch at 12T, right? Famous last words. So let's move up. So we're also facing E75, but he's on very low health, and honestly, a high explosive round will finish him. Unfortunately, I don't seem to be carrying any, so this shows how long it is since I've played the E75. I actually haven't played this tank for a very, very long time before this game. Normally I stock high explosive with every tank that has a gun caliber over a certain size, and this certainly qualifies. I mean, I've got 10 APCR rounds, but that should really be 5, and I should be taking 5 HE. This gun has got the same penetration as the shame I missed the T54. Same penetration and damage as the gun found on the Scorpion, the Tier 8 Premium. Yeah, T54 is not going to show himself. So it's currently 9-7 to us, slightly in the lead. And it's looking like the tide's in our favour. We hold the hill. I managed to sneak a shot into the T54. I wasn't really sure if that was going to go in. Bit of a low roll, unfortunately, but he's significantly weakened now. Now, seeing the mini-map, bottom right-hand corner, that the Batchat 12T is now making an appearance, so I'm thinking, okay, look. So I say to Watlanka, let's go back and deal with this guy. We've got plenty of heavies up on the hill. Also, the T54, I suspect, when last seen, is probably going to cross over and pop up in the kind of the E7 area, and I want to be there to try and intercept him, because he's still a dangerous opponent. T44 on our side does appear to be not AFK, which is interesting. He's just extremely stationary, let's just say. So we're going to leave the tanks on the hill to push on down and engage the Waffenträger. T34 looks like he wants to snipe, that's fine. So as the LTTB, across the hill, and he gets taken out by the WZ, who also, it seems, isn't AFK. So this is good. Batchat. Poor shot by me. Poor shot by me. There's no two ways about that. That wasn't RNG. That was just me not aiming very well. And I think his tracks ate the shot. And really it's now effectively just a matter of mopping up. And I don't think anything else really of much note happens in the rest of the game. Just basically chasing around the Waffenträger and T54. I donk my shot. He bounces off my potentially lower plate. Or maybe the upper plate. Either way, it wasn't going to go through. I was angling very nicely, and he gets finished by the WZ. So that's pretty much it for this game. It wasn't bad. 3,360 damage, 820 blocked, and yeah, pretty solid game considering it was a tier 10 game as well. So that's it from this. It's all over by the shouting. Waffenträger gets picked up by the IS-7, I think, and the game is done. Right, let's move on to the next game, featuring a player called Bananovi Kochs. Don't quite know if I pronounced that correctly. XVM is down at the moment, or rather XVM isn't, but Wargaming have released a micro patch, which of course has broken everyone's mods temporarily. So I can't look at the player statistics for Bananovi. So I'm assuming he's a good player, because if you take a look at his gun barrel, we can see that he's actually 2-marked it so far. For those who may be watching who are unaware, the German marks are in multiples of 3, so 1 gun mark is 3 rings, 2 gun marks is 6 rings, and 3 is 9. So we're on El Haluf. It's a tier 9 game. He is facing, from a heavy point of view, the tier 10, T10, sorry, and that's pretty much it. So if I was a betting man, I'd put my money on a tank. I'd probably go for the E75 over the T10. I've driven both. I think the E75 probably has got a little bit more reliable armour, and the T10 less so, but I guess your mileage may vary. Anyway, this replay is going to show you how good players think in terms of they multitask. They're thinking like a step ahead. Certainly some of his decisions I think are quite brilliant, and you'll see what I'm talking about fairly shortly. So he's going to where the medium tanks normally brawl. Honestly, I totally understand this, because going up to the A1 area or A2 area where all the heavy tanks are just tends to be a boring stalemate, and even more dull if there's artillery involved. So he's making his way up the slope here, and there's already people killing people and everyone getting shot and all the rest of it. So he kind of chimes in. Now he's facing a Carnarvon tier 8 to 110 tier 8 and a Type 59 tier 8. Now, look at that ram. So what he does is he shoots and then rams the Type 59. 110 seems to be ignoring him. So he rams the Type 59 again and just takes out this tank without firing a shot at him, which I think is actually awesome multitasking. Puts a shot into the tier 8. Now, the 110 has a 175 pen gun, which is just... he hasn't got a hope against the E75 unless he loads gold, which he hasn't yet. You can see that shot bounced off the E75, and it was just normal armor piercing. He's aiming at the turret, the Commander Cupola, sorry, and the E75 shot goes off the 110's Cupola also, which kind of surprised me actually. But the 110 rams him for 97 damage, he doesn't take any damage in return, and fires a gold shot at him, which bounces. The E75 has no such problem firing at the other side of these turrets and taking out the 110. What's next? Well, the Carnarvon's just sat there, not doing a great deal, and honestly just asking to get shot, but not before he puts a shot into the E75's lower plate. But the Carnarvon's alpha damage is not amazing, so it's not that much of a big deal. However, he is getting harassed by artillery considerably. Oh, sees the T10, only tracks him, which is good. Now what's he going to do? He sees the T10 backing up, so he decides to go for the T26, the Patriot, who very happily turns his turret and gets shot and put down. The T10 has come back and blasts almost 400 damage off the E75. However, this corner is now won, so he pushes round. Almost goes for the T10, but decides instead to go for the Ferdinand, and he puts a shot through the front superstructure. Clearly 246 pen is enough to go through the front of the Ferdinand with armor piercing ammo. Pokes again. I suspect he thought he had the reload advantage over the Ferdinand, but sadly he didn't, and the Ferdinand puts a big chunk of damage into him. So he's down to 280 hit points now. It looks like he's about half a second to a second behind the Ferdinand's reload, but he bounces that shot. Now behind him he's got T-34 and a Lerva, which is good, because it stops the Waffenträger from rushing in. Waffenträger could have rushed him now if he was on his own, and could have one-shot him quite easily. The T-34's there, so he's discouraging him from doing it. T-34 or the Lerva miss the Waffenträger, but he doesn't, and he bounces the 750 damage shot from the Waffenträger at that point. The Lerva has gone around the back, you'll notice on the mini-map, which is actually pretty cool. Puts a lot of pressure on them now. Another shot into the Waffenträger, who maybe he's looking at his mini-map, maybe lost concentration, but he punishes the T-34 at that point. And the Arty are both concentrating on him on this corner, which honestly would be the right thing to do. Waffenträger's gone. Game is more or less level. It's 910. He's already up to almost 5,000 damage, and he's bounced 3,240 worth of incoming damage as well. The game is far from over, however. They are slightly down on tanks. Having said that, they've actually got 5 actual tanks, whereas the enemy has 2. They've got 4 tanks, and they have 2 artillery. So, who would I put my money on? Don't know, it's a hard one. Artillery's worth its weight in gold. Puts a very, very good shot into the T-34-3 and actually ammo racks him by 965 damage, which is pretty awesome. We're in a situation now, he's on 39 health. He can get one shot by anything. All they have to do is load high explosive. Really? Doing 39 damage with high explosive isn't hard. Anyway, they've now got 2 tanks left. So it was 2 versus 4. 2 versus 5. Waffenträger just killed the T-55 and he just killed the T-92. So it's a lot more level now. And if I was a betting man, I would... it's actually quite a difficult one still. The fact he's on such low health means that this is actually quite an awkward one to call. But if the Rheinmetall on the enemy team uses his spotting advantage and just lets artillery deal with these 2 tanks, then I'd put my money on them. But it all depends on how good the Rheinmetall Baltic player is. So, he's playing cautiously, as I would. This is going to be really touch and go, honestly. 6,000 damage now. Now he's moving up with the Waffenträger. That's a good thing. Stay together. Don't get split up. And he's telling the Waffenträger to wait. Basically, he's telling him also now to load HE, but he's basically telling him to wait. Let him go round to the back and then come up on the side. He can spot maybe, but the Waffenträger's moving up, which is I mean, I can maybe understand why he might do that, but the Waffenträger, what's his health? Waffenträger's health is 861. Okay, so it's not ideal, but it really does depend on what gun the Rheinmetall Baltic player's got. Has he got the long gun that the E50 is using, or has he got the E100 gun? Not that it matters, because the arty destroyed the Waffenträger, and in return the E75 spots and kills the GW Tiger P. So the odds haven't really changed. The play actually got worse now, because he's only got his own set of eyes now, whereas the Rheinmetall could easily spot for the bat chat, or technically vice versa. 6,500 damage, 1v2, and a strong breeze could still kill the E75. This is quite tense. So he's coming up here. This is logically the best place to come up. He's circling around where the Rheinmetall was last spotted, so it makes sense he might still be here. The Waffenträger didn't spot the Rheinmetall, which means the chances are he is still here. Up he comes, slowly, slowly. So he goes up here smartly. If he went round to the left, he'd be exposing himself all the way down that line, so he's coming up here, which is the smart thing to do. And there goes the cap circle noise. So somebody is in the cap circle. Is it the Rheinmetall Baltic or is it the bat chat? We have to wait and see. But what's coming up now is a really interesting play. Watch this. Right, let me pause it there. Now, how many of you would take the shot at the Rheinmetall Baltic at this point? Probably 90% of you. I know that I certainly would have. What he does, and what's interesting, is that the Rheinmetall Baltic isn't even facing him. So the chances are that I would have shot the Rheinmetall Baltic. He's got HE preloaded. That's what I would have done. But he doesn't. He decides he's got time. I'm going to shoot the bat chat to take pressure off me, because he's capping. So he reloads HE. Again, the smart thing to do. Because he knows that he was facing two targets which are very susceptible to HE. Again, how many people would have thought of that as well? 512 damage with a high explosive shell, not necessarily more than he would have got with AP. But what's interesting now is all the Rheinmetall Baltic has to do is hit him with an HE shell. That's all he had to do. And he didn't. And he's paid the price. So they're both now one-shots. It's a high explosive, or auto armor piercing, in terms of the E75. The Rheinmetall Baltic needs to load high explosive to be sure of one-shotting the E75. However, that's where gun depression comes in. So gun depression was what made the difference there. So there we have it. I hope you enjoyed both of those two games. I'm not going to show you the end plate for mine, but let's look at the end plate for this game. So here is the end of game stats for the game you just saw on El Haluf. So he's got an absolute boatload of medals, obviously ace tanker because it had to be, bruiser and all that lot, but more important, he's got Pascucci's medal. He killed 2 SPGs. He's got Paul's medal for killing 10 or more enemy tanks. He's got high caliber, steel wall and top gun, as you'd expect. Boatload of kills. Team score 8,100 damage, as you'd expect. Yep, lots of good stuff going on there. You know, compared to the rest of the team, you know, he's got easily more than the rest of the team put together. Well, maybe just. Detailed report: fired 20 shots, 19 penetrations, which is pretty impressive. Quite a bit of damage from over 300 meters. Looks like 3 or 4 shots maybe. He's got didn't make a bad amount of money either. I don't think he fired any premium shots, which is really cool. So yeah, really nice battle, well played. To where's your name gone? Your name is over there, Banovi Cox. Very well played, sir. Very good game indeed. As I say, I'm not going to bother showing you the end of plate stats for my game because that was distinctly average, and after showing you the end of game stats for this game, I'd be too embarrassed to do that. Suffice to say, it was alright. That was basically it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. The E75 is not dead. It still can be the king of the battlefield, and it's nice to see that at least one German tank hasn't suffered from power creep. One of the older German tanks hasn't suffered from power creep. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please leave a like and or a comment, and I'll catch you on the next one.